Newcastle is a really great city in the sense that it understands the need for cultural ecosystems, and there's very much, I think it comes from that, that working class industrial history of we all work together to make things. I'm Felicia Knox. I am an artist. I make a lot of installation work, film work. I make a lot of work around ecology, around post-industrial environments, things like that. This is our cafe space. Everything about Star and Shadow is run by volunteers. So this is our volunteer-run cafe. And then over here we have seating for our cafe, and then in the far corner we have the canny little library, which is a library run by a collective of volunteers. It's an anarchist library, and it's on completely on an honor system. So you can pick a book and you put your name into the little birdhouse looking thing, and you can take the book away. Star and Shadow was founded by 4 different people with very different ideas around film and cinema, and wanted to create a place to watch cinema. There wasn't independent cinema or experimental cinema or queer cinema or moving image, artist moving image, really shown in an experimental way, and so that gap was noticed, and I think it was 2012, and that started inside Side Cinema, which is the cinema that was run by the Amber Collective. I think it kind of rekindled an idea within Amber as well to use that space for Amber films. So that relationship needed to move on. And the founders that had grown then, there was more feeding into programming and kind of collective programming, and really sort of an understanding of what Star and Shadow wanted to be, and that was looking at non-hierarchy, it was looking at collectivism, it was looking at, looking at creating a place where everyone has the same rights and access as everyone else. We rented another building in Stepney Bank, which is not far from here in the Oosburn, and that it was the old Tyne Tea studio, so it was kind of warehouse spaces, and it was completely in an area that was just starting to kind of be regenerated, but there was lots of scope to try out things there, and so Star and Shadow was happy there for I think about 4 or 5 years, and then that area then became more gentrified, and there was a push to use that, for the owner to then sell that building and be a part of gentrification in the building, being torn down and something new being built in its place. And by that point, Star and Shadow had absolutely swelled. There were, maybe closer to 100 volunteers at that time. So the reason why you have to be with us is once that door shuts, we can't hear them and they can't hear us. So. There might be a huge rock band on or metal band on, and it'll be loud in here, and you won't hear a sound outside of this room. It's amazing. Yeah, you sometimes will feel vibration in the concrete. Mm-hmm. If there's a dub club, you'll feel a little a little bounce from the vibration. And we bought the building from the council, and the council supported that process, and so we worked with it, and all of this was done by volunteers, so we were able to learn everything as we went about, But what was really important to us is that we were wanted here, It's all well and good for the council to want us here and us to want to be here, but none of that means anything if the community doesn't want us to be here. We did lots of different open public workshops, public conversations, we have open meetings. We wanted people to understand who we were and that our boundaries are 100% porous. We're not separate, we're of the community that we're a part of. And that was really, really important to us and really well received. There was a lot of, energy and excitement grown from that process. And, lots of volunteers came in from that process. And so we felt like this was a good fit, and the council felt like it was a good fit. So we decided to buy this building. Very few of us had building trade, had any specific trades that we were able to learn and do. And what kept happening time and time again is, we would have people come in to, when we were getting our insurance or whatever, people were auditing it, signing off all of the permits, and everybody was always so impressed because it was the best books that anyone had ever seen, because we'd never done it before, so we did absolutely everything to the letter and over-engineered, because we didn't want to get anything wrong. But this is our venue. Like tonight, I was saying, we're going to have a disco on that's put on by an organization that we've worked with for many years. And it's an organization, it's a theatre that's run by and for people with learning disabilities. And so they have a disco and they very much run it, and we're here to run the building, but they run the event. We have a full bar, which, you know, we are financially sustainable, and part of that is because we do have a bar. That's, you know, part of how we run. We currently aren't taking any governmental funding or any funding whatsoever, other than what we bring in through donations, tickets, and bar sales. As an organization, as an organization in the sense that as a group of people, we live outside of the capitalist way. No one is paid to be here. No one is taking a salary. I'm not paid to be here now. You know, I'm here because I want this place to exist. I want this place to continue. I want this place to thrive. And I want place for artists and filmmakers and musicians to be able to experiment, try things, take risks. You know, there's less and less places to take risks creatively. So we have a wonderful collective that's just shut down for the summer, and they'll be starting again in summer, or in September, and they're called the Community Kitchen, and it's a mutual aid approach to feeding our community, which is ourselves included. We all make food together and we eat together, and it's very much in response to the cost of living crisis. Everyone's struggling, and we're not a soup kitchen, or we're not interested in something that's top down. It's all of us sharing food together, making food together, and eating food together as a community. This is our toilet aisle. We have gender neutral loos, and we also have a changing places loo, which was really important for us to get. It's a full accessible loo for people and their carers. And the bit that Joe was mentioning is the tiling. So we were when we were building our building, we were, you know, everything we did in this building was recycled where it could be, and tiles are very expensive. So we did a call out for tiles. You know, we did a call out, and everyone's got boxes of tiles in their garage or attic or whatever. And so we asked them to donate tiles. And so we've got this wild mishmash of tiles. But Graham Robinson, who's a wonderful sculptor as well, he made little bits of pieces, but he was able to make this beautiful patchwork that comes from just all of our discarded leftover bits. So that is why Joe was mentioning it's nice to show people our loos, because they kind of, you know, are the illustration of how we work. For us, it's really important that no one holds all the knowledge. You know, that everything we do, you know, kind of like we like our little simple phrases, but like, you know, one of mine personally is thinking about like everything you do here, you shadow in and you train your way out. You know, like you never become the stopping place. The energy needs to flow through the place all the time. Everybody needs to know how to do everything. You know, it needs to be able to run with any one of us not there. You know, like it needs to function. So we did our build that way, and that was amazing. To do our build as a non-hierarchical building site, to make a site this big, you know, that's just unheard of. So this building used to be a furniture sales warehouse, so a really, you know, not very exciting building. It was a big open plan warehouse, and then we've built every piece of infrastructure inside of it. So it gave us a lot of freedom, but actually it probably would have been easier to start from scratch, to be fair. But we were able to kind of craft our cinema building and craft our venue building as kind of self-contained buildings within this structure. And then behind you is just our wood shop. This is where the circular saw should be. But this is our wood shop, which we get a massive workout this summer. I was saying that we close down for the month of August to the public, but we do a lot of building festivals. You know, we get everyone in to fix anything, remake anything, reimagine anything, and we have all of the equipment we need to do that. And we have all the equipment we needed to build this place. All right. I was a part of the fundraising team during the build, and that's one of the things that we were able to get funding for, is looking at, you know, we can get arts funding, we can get community funding, then we're able to also get some funding around the fact that this is, you know, a real life DIY skill building, you know, college. Like, you can learn absolutely everything. You can walk into this building, you can learn how to run sound, you can learn how to project, you can learn how to maintain a building like this, you can learn how to build, you can learn how to write grants, you can learn how to do finances and accounting, you can learn, if it's your passion, you can learn the accounting software that you could then become a bookkeeper elsewhere. So these skills are skills that people can use and take to the rest of their lives. We'll never have most things settled. We are ever adaptive, we are ever evolving, we are ever changing. And the thing that we can predict for is to be financially self-sustaining, to be ecologically self-sustaining, like we have solar panels. So when you were here earlier the day, all of this energy was produced by solar panels. None of it came from the grid, and then we sell excess back to the grid. So we're always looking at ways that, probably the next big investment we'll look at infrastructure-wise is looking at buying a battery system so we can be fully self-sustaining with energy, because we make much more energy than we use from our solar panels, things like that. We are always looking at ways that we can, be more self-sustainable. That's to us some of the primary things, and that we're always useful to our community, that we are our community. Like, we don't want to be some sort of siloed organization that makes experimental things for artists. That is part of who we are, but that's not the whole of our story. That might be the story that some people connect to, but the story is much bigger than that. And it always needs to be adaptive and responsive and useful,